television and mobile media. With Dan Bonner, it's Kevin Harlan, a great officiating crew here in Gainesville this afternoon. A lot of Final Fours among this group of Green, Eads, and Hess. And here we go. Columbus right off the bat and right into Bobby Mays of Tennessee.
And Florida starts with the full court pressure. They didn't do this when the teams played at Tennessee.
Here's J.P. Prince. Mays coming off a big game. Screened by Prince, and the triple is down.
One of the things Bruce Pearl told us before the game was that Tennessee had to be able to hit some three-point shots, so that's a great start for the Volunteers. Man-to-man for Tennessee.
Columbus to Warner, and they let him fire. Now, he has been a shooting slot, so for him to win, there's a great steal off the inbound. Parsons picks it up. And the Vols have it. Here comes Mays, the junior college transfer. He's got some speed. Prince picked up by Warner. Inside, great pass. Chisholm got it, and Prince gets the assist.
One of the problems that you have when you run this press and drop back into that matchup zone, if you're Florida, it's hard to find guys. It allows Tennessee to play early offense in transition.
And transition is something both coaches said would be key today with the whistle down low. That's against the Volunteers with the clock at 18:45, and it's picked up by the freshman Hobson. Scotty Hobson picks up number 1. But transition has been a big key coming to this game.
Transition's a key because each team is pretty good defensively if you allow them to get set up. Well, this is an interesting matchup. Prince going against Calathis.
Screen by Tyus. Warner for 3. Late close by Smith. Rebound Parsons. And picked up inside by Chisholm. And here's the speed of Mays once again.
Florida back into that matchup zone defense. Tennessee needs to get ball movement, and particularly they need to get it inside.
And that's what they do over Calathis. It's Smith. Rebound by Warner. Here comes Nick Calathis, the 3rd leading scorer in the Southeastern Conference. Warner thought about 3. Alex Tyus off the hands of the Volunteers.
Really would like to go into Alex Tyus, but Bruce Pearl knows that his guys have an advantage on the inside. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're a little bit more athletic.
Here is Hodge. Parsons around Mays. That's a big time 3. And like you said before, when Florida hits their threes, especially at home, watch out. Hobson, a 3 and a late close by Alex Tyus, and a rebound by Parsons. So Tennessee has started 2 of 5. They go inside. Alex Tyus can't get the point-blank range shot.
That's 3 point-blank range shots that Florida's inside guys have missed. You have to be able to convert those. Boy, it's loud in here.
Another sellout. Tennessee coming off a win, an important win over Mississippi State, 81-76. Smith inside into Calathis.
Well, it was in man-to-man that time. That is a very difficult matchup for Calathis. Smith, one of the best inside players in the SEC.
The Gators lost at LSU earlier this week, 81-75. 4 consecutive road losses for them. It's Calathis wide open, one of the top 3-point shooters in the country, the best in the Southeastern Conference, and Hobson with the rebound for the Volunteers. Wide open, Chisholm inside, and can't slam it in. And a timeout he calls for the Volunteers on his back. So a timeout in a tie game. Let's take a look at our Applebee's neighborhood favorite in 1987. Florida coach Billy Donovan was a senior star at Providence. He averaged 20 points a game, took the Friars to the Final Four while being named the Southeast Region Most Outstanding Player. And the coach of that team was Rick Pitino. We just saw him and his Louisville team come up with a big win over Marquette. And you take a look at guys that have played and coached in the Final Four.
That is a pretty impressive list right there, and Billy Donovan certainly deserving to be on that list. He had an outstanding college career. In fact, he probably had the best college career of any of the fellas on that list.
So the Volunteers, who come in the conference at 8-5, 17-10 overall. Guard play has been the thing that they are trying to get through, but look at their strength of schedule. Look what they've done in the last 12 games.
Kevin, this is really critical. You see their RPI is 29. Their strength of schedule is number 2. In the non-conference schedule in particular, they went out and they played people, and that is always very impressive for the NCAA tournament committee. Of course, Bruce Pearl isn't sitting around feeling comfortable right now. He knows that more wins constitute the perfect formula for getting comfortable with joining the NCAA tournament field.
Brian Williams has come in for Tennessee. The 5'8" Irving Walker has come with the point. Prince missing the shot. Here comes Nick Calathis. Look at him sift through traffic. Warner for 3, uncovered. And picked up by Scotty Hobson, player of the year in high school in the state of Kentucky. Freshman Smith. He'll fly inside right into Alex Tyus. Volunteers by 2. 4 minutes gone. Calathis inside to Tyus. Free pass by Calathis.
That's a great pass. Breakdown defensively for Tennessee, but finally Florida finishes in there. Gators now trying to pressure again. Drop back into that matchup zone.
Smith and picked up by Alex Tyus. Brian Williams is going to pick up a foul for Tennessee.
That's a great block out by Werner.
Another tie game, 15:25 to play here in Gainesville in the first half. Tennessee is. Here are the 21-7 Gators.
You know, Kevin, it might be that this game is more important for Florida as we look at their RPI, only 42. But here's the key thing for the Gators. The strength of schedule, 101. And those are the kind of numbers that if you're looking for an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament, the tournament selection committee is going to look at. Billy Donovan obviously has done a great job here at Florida.
Cameron Tatum has checked in for the Volunteers. Josh Tabb has come in as well. The 2 substitutions. Kenny Cagey is in the game for the first time for the Gators. He just got that. Here comes the 5'8" freshman from Brooklyn, New York, Irving Walker. He changes this team a great deal. There's Walker. Calathis. 17 consecutive home wins for the Gators. 15-0 at home this year. For Tennessee, 3 consecutive road losses. Shot clock is down to 10. Mismatch. The center Williams on Walker. He'll try to exploit. Cagey comes up and cleans the glass. Nice defense inside by Tatum.
Boy, they just can't finish inside. It was great defense, but your big guy's got to finish that one. There's a guy who can finish. Prince right down the lane. Tough to set that matchup zone defense when you're trying to play in transition.
Williams with a good screen sealed it off against Prince. It's Walker outside. Walter Hodge with the late close by Tatum. The rebound by Smith, and the outlet goes to J.P. Prince. Another screen by Williams. A screen there by Prince. Tennessee is 5 of 11. Florida is 4 of 14. Smith is 2 of 4. Prince. Warner lets him fire. Calathis the other way. Screen by Cagey. That opens up the shot for Calathis. Rebound by Tatum.
Florida's had some good looks at the basket. They just haven't been able to get them to go down. And when you miss, that allows your opponent to get the rebound and get out and run.
That's a 3 by Smith, who is the 7th leading scorer in the Southeastern Conference coming into today.
If you allow Tennessee to play in transition, that's going to give the Vols the opportunity to get good looks at the basket, get their feet solidly underneath them here on the road.
Williams the deflection. Hodge picks it up. Into Prince, slithering inside. Beautiful play by the senior. Hodge. That's a nice deflection at the other end. Tatum for 3. Oh, it rolls out. What do you think of the pace of the game?
How about that?
Williams, the center, lumbering down the lane, puts it in.
It's a very quick pace to the game, obviously, Kevin, but the center, Williams, just stole the ball cleanly from Nick Calathis, and lumber, I think, is an exaggeration. I don't think he went fast enough to lumber.
There's cagey. He gives it a little toughness for the Gators.
This is a great start for Tennessee. Tatum picks up the foul, but it is a solid start for Tennessee. One of the things that Florida likes to do, they get a lot of movement, a lot of screens, but Tennessee, Bruce Pearlie's upset with that call, but their guys are all about the same size, and so they just go ahead and switch, and there may be mismatches, but they're confident that their guys can play against either a bigger guy or a smaller guy. They don't really get caught up in those screens, they just switch them.
Shipman has come in for Florida. Calathis is out. Here's Tyus. He comes in for Werner. Shipman is a freshman. Florida High School Player of the Year. Recruited by Billy Donovan here to Gainesville. Parsons. Travel.
The dominant factor in this game so far, in my opinion, Kevin, has been the Tennessee defense. They've been doing a great job getting in the face of the Florida players. A perfect example right there. Parsons just walked.
And Florida only shooting 31% to start the game. They'll pick and roll with Williams. Tap goes the other way to Tatum. He just missed that 3 moments ago. Williams doubled. Snaps it out. Nice ball rotation to Tyler Smith. Outside, he's got 10 to start the game. When the front line of Tennessee scores, good things happen to the ball.
Well, when you make inside shots, that causes the defense to collapse. It opens your guys on the perimeter, and then if your guys are going to make them from the perimeter, the defense is really in a bind.
Curling in his Parsons. Nice defense by Chisholm. Numbers the other way. Tab out. Oh, he slams it in. Tatum off the wing, up high and down hard. A 7-0 run by the Volunteers and 11:31 to play in the first half. And look at their 10-point lead, the biggest today in Gainesville. Tennessee 53% from the field.
And a lot of that has to do with the shots they're getting. Here's Tyler Smith. He's not a great percentage shooter, but he's a good enough player. You leave him all alone like that, he's going to hurt you. And then the Volunteers, with their defense, have been able to get out in transition. And you shoot 53% when you get shot opportunities like that.
So Tennessee plus 6 points in the paint and plus 6 points above or beyond the three-point arc.
The last time these two teams played, Tennessee, again, not a very good three-point shooting team. Tennessee made 12 threes against Florida. Billy Donovan and his staff have to be scratching their heads about why Tennessee shoots so well from three against them.
Werner for three, puts in the triple. Chisholm is defending. Mays is back in for the Volunteers. Out there with Prince, Williams, Tatum, and Chisholm. That's the Volunteer 5 on the floor. Tatum across the lane. Outside, Mays for three, puts in another dagger. He's got 6.
When you press and you don't steal the ball, you allow Tennessee to get up the court in a mismatch situation. Somebody's open, and they're knocking down the threes early.
Werner and Calathis. Shipman, Tyus right through his hands, and Hodge, that's the Gator 5 on the floor. And Tatum racing the other way. Chisholm for three, another triple. How about that?
You got to be kidding. That wasn't a good shot there.
They're 5-7 beyond the arc. This is usually how Florida wins games, with the three-point shot like you were talking about before. Here's Shipman. Chisholm is on him. Prince is watching Werner, the former New Jersey High School Player of the Year. Here's Calathis back down the lane. Rebound by the 6'10 Williams.
Florida's really struggling on offense, and Tennessee red hot on their offensive end.
Mays. Chisholm over Werner. Again inside, more baskets. Now Chisholm's got 7 points, 60% shooting.
And here's Chisholm with 7. Smith has 10. The inside players for Tennessee really doing a nice job. That time Calathis got loose. But Florida, if Florida's going to come back in this game, they've got to get some stops defensively, and Tennessee has just shredded the Florida defense so far.
Calathis has 4. So inside, the Tennessee Volunteers are thriving, but what about their outside shooting with 5 triples so far? Team in the Southeastern Conference in three-point shooting.
Not against Florida. Tennessee comes in. They only shoot 30% in conference games, but against Florida, they're much better. They've made 5 of 7 today, Kevin. When these two teams played in Knoxville, Tennessee made 8 three-pointers in the first half, 12 for the game. And Bruce Pearl's guys, they know that Florida is trying to defend the inside first. If you're going to give Tennessee something, you give them the three-point shot, and the Tennessee Volunteers are making Florida pay for that strategy.
At the top of the broadcast, we talked about what both coaches told us before the game transition. Here so far, Tennessee plus 10 points off turnovers. They're plus 9 beyond the three-point arc. They have not turned the ball over until right there with the traveling violation. And it goes on J.P. Prince.
But if you're going to turn it over, of course, Bruce Pearl doesn't want any turnovers, but if you're going to turn it over, you do it in that situation where Florida has to take the ball out of bounds, that they don't get a transition opportunity.
Daniel Negadu is now in, the freshman for the Tennessee Volunteers. Here is a foul. And it is going to go on Tennessee's Bobby Mays. He picks up his first personal foul.
He's talking to the official, but he had both of his hands on Nick Calathis, and you can't do that, particularly not out where the referee can see you.
I think Calathis sees that a lot. As good a player as there is in the Southeastern Conference. He was the co-freshman of the year last season with Patrick Patterson of Kentucky. Good screen by Werner, a 3 by Calathis, the #1 three-point shooter in the Southeastern Conference. Tyus trying to chase it down.
But he hasn't had any luck from 3 today. Nope. The interesting thing about Florida, Kevin, is they started the game going inside, but their inside guys, Parsons and Tyus and KG, all missed point-blank range shots. So now they haven't gone back in there. They're trying the three-pointers, and they're just not getting them to go down.
63% shooting for the Volunteers. Florida at 35%. Chisholm over Werner. Good-looking rebound by Dan Werner. Originally committed to North Carolina State when they had a coaching change there. Came to the Gator program. Outer Hodge. Chandler Parsons.
Tennessee, again, switching all the screens, and you might say, well, that creates a mismatch, but Tennessee doesn't think that. They think their guys are athletic enough to guard.
Hodge for 3. Rebound offensively by Werner. Here's a 3 by Parsons. That is right down the middle. He's got 5, and when Florida is going well, those three-point shots are going in. Under 8 to play here in the first half. Hobson, mismatch against Hodge. They go inside. Calathis was holding as Chisholm got that pass. And a foul goes on Calathis for the first time. Timeout taken, 7:47 in the first half from Gainesville. The Volunteers, Smith with a quick 10 points to start the game. The top scorers in the conference, Calathis with 4. Let's again revisit the importance of this game for these two teams.
Kevin, these two teams are battling for the first place spot in the SEC East, but more importantly than that, they're looking for an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. Tennessee's got, as we mentioned before, they've got a very good resume so far. An RPI of 2, a schedule strength of 2, an RPI of 29. They're in pretty good shape. Florida might need this win more than Tennessee needs to win, but at the moment, it's Tennessee who is playing extremely well. They're doing a great job defensively, forcing turnovers, and on offense, they're getting the ball inside. Chisholm and Smith have scored effectively, and they've knocked down 5 three-point baskets.
Mays is in with Prince, Smith, Chisholm, Scotty Hobson back in the game. That's the Volunteer 5, 7:43 to play in the first half. Werner, Walker, Tyus, Calathis, Parsons, the Gator 5.
And Florida in that 2-3 matchup zone. And you'll notice the zone really doesn't put a lot of pressure on the ball. That allows the Volunteers to take a look inside and find open guys.
60% shooting for Tennessee to start the game. Shot clock is down to 7. It's Smith. Traveling. Second Tennessee turnover.
That's really the first time in the game, Kevin, that we've seen Tennessee try to play at the end of the shot clock. They want to play as quickly as possible. They don't want to get down to 5 or 6 seconds on the clock and have to make a move.
36% shooting for the Gators. Here is Warner. Smith on him. Sets the screen. Parsons. Mays will come out on him. Walker. Warner. Alex Tyus out of St. Louis, a sophomore. Gets it back and puts it in. Big time play from Tyus.
Tyus needs to finish the first one, though, Kevin. You get the ball inside, your big guy's got to score.
Mays with a crossover on Walker. What a big-time hit. That's a 2. Mays is coming off a 14-point game against Mississippi State earlier this week. With a lot of energy for Tennessee coach Bruce Pearl. Calathes into Chisholm. Prince is on Parsons. They switch. They set the screen with the Parsons screen that opens up the shot for Calathes.
Calathes actually had 2 guys on him. Chisholm and Prince had their hands up in his face.
7 for Calathes. Chisholm into Tyus. Tyus with the defense. It is an undersized Florida team, but Tyus comes up big. Calathes, the look away outside. Parsons for 3. Rebound inside, corrected by Warner. Here come the Gators. It's Chisholm. Parsons defending, Tyus rebounding.
Too much standing around on the offensive end the last couple possessions by Tennessee.
Florida +3 in rebounding. Tyus had it knocked away. Chisholm knocked it away. Clock at 5:15 here in the first.
And Kevin, the game becomes much easier when the ball goes in the basket, and suddenly Florida has started to put the ball in the basket, and that has gotten this crowd back in the game, certainly given the Gators a decidedly different outlook on the way things are going.
10-2 run by the Gators. Walker is in with KG, Warner, and Nick Calathes and Parsons. That is the 5, unless they're making another change here, and they do. They're going to bring in Walter Hines. They're going to go smaller as Parsons will lead.
Now, I think Parsons tweaked his ankle in the last game against LSU, and I think they were concerned that he was trying to tighten his shoe. Maybe his ankle's not feeling well, so they got somebody else in the game for him. Becomes suddenly a much smaller Florida lineup.
Williams comes out. Will be the first line of defense on Calathes. They'll foul. That mismatch right there.
And that's really the first time today that Florida has taken advantage of one of those mismatches. Chisholm, for Bruce Pearl, has guarded Calathes out there a couple times and prevented him from driving to the basket. But Williams just a little bit too slow.
Williams picks up his second personal foul. Here is Walker. Under 5 to play.
Man-to-man for Tennessee.
Gators at 41% from the field. Little screen right there by KG. Warner. Walker for 3. Big time hit for the little man in basketball. He's got his first hit from the field today. And the Gators, who are down, now come to within 2. A 13-2 run. Tennessee was up by 13 points. And the Gators have chiseled away at that lead. The drive by Prince in a left hand.
That's a great job recognizing by Prince. Florida was actually in the man-to-man, and J.P. Prince just took the 5'8" Walker to the basket.
Another 3 by Walker. KG with the offensive rebound. Taken away by Tab, and it's out of bounds. Good crowd here inside the O'Connell Center.
It's really loud. This is a great atmosphere.
Terrific Southeastern Conference game from Gainesville.
Built the lead on the strength of three-point shooting. They made 5 three-point baskets in the first 9 minutes of the game, but their last three-pointer they made with 10:51, so it's been more than 7 minutes since they've scored a three-point basket. On the other hand, Billy Donovan's guys have started to knock the ball down from three-point range, plus they've done a great job on the offensive board. 7 offensive rebounds for Florida, only 1 so far for Tennessee.
Freshman Ronaldo Woolridge has come in for the Volunteers for the first time. Warner from Colanthus.
The key is not only the three-point shooting, but Florida, by scoring and by getting offensive rebounds, has not allowed Tennessee to get out in transition here in the last few minutes.
Here's Warner. He's picked up inside by Smith. That is a turnover number 5 for the Gators.
That's a tough turnover. That Smith is probably better than Warner is on the inside, but the key there is Florida continues to go inside. Even though he traveled with the basketball, that's a good concept to attack in there.
Warner is out. Chandler Parsons, a sophomore, is back in for the Gators. They go inside. Smith and a great assist to the driving Brian Williams for 2.
Much better movement that time by the inside guys.
Williams has 4. Kenny Cagey, nice steal. Hobson got the deflection. 6 turnovers for the Gators. Points off turnovers, Tennessee plus 10. That's a huge number.
Boy, Williams wants the ball inside, was disgusted he didn't get it. Oh, don't leave him. They left Smith standing on the baseline.
Here's the defensive-minded Tab. Got a screen from Williams. Hoists the 3. 6 for 8 three-point shooting for Tennessee. Tab has got 6. When they have that outside shot going for the Volunteers, it opens up the floor like you were talking about. And that's when Tyler Smith was thriving, as you mentioned before, with his early 10 points.
Well, and it's very interesting that, you know, this is now the 6th three-point basket in the game for Tennessee. And Josh Tab is a guy, that's only his 9th three-point basket made all season long. Tab is not noted as a three-point shooter.
Had a couple different runs, a 13-2 run by Florida. Now a 7-0 run by UT. Is that a 3?
It's hard to tell because the way the lights shine on most of these courts and the fact that that line, that men's three-point line, is almost always a lighter color than the women's three-point line. It's hard for the officials not only to see it when it happens, but to look at it on a replay and determine where a player's feet are.
And tough right now. Initially ruled a 3, and if they can't find any,
and there's something else too here, Kevin. The Tennessee Volunteer players, the toes of their players are orange. The shoes are orange. The line is orange. How's the official supposed to tell?
I think his foot was on the line. Let's see what they rule. They're still over there taking a look at it. There's a look at the
boy. That is some kind of close. That is some kind of close right there.
We mentioned before that Tennessee has had 4 consecutive wins here over the years, but they have come in to this game with 3 straight road losses in the Southeastern Conference.
Well, this is
3 is good. They're going to rule it good.
This is a great response by Tennessee. The crowd was going crazy. Florida was running right at them, and now everybody's quiet again.
Good point. Colanthus is fouled as he was taking it inside. With 2:26, Woolridge, the talented freshman out of California, picks it up.
I don't really think that, I mean, it's hard to do, particularly when you're out there playing, but I don't really think you want to foul Nick Colanthus while he's taking the ball to the basket. He is not a great finisher around the rim. You know, make him go to the basket and score.
Warner. Colanthus, good fake. Woolridge hit. The 2 won't go. Williams with a good-looking rebound for Tennessee. Alley drive, that was just picked off by Parsons. Look at the scrum ensuing. You don't think this game has some meaning? 2 teams tied in 2nd place. with the winner here going in a tie for first in the Eastern Division with South Carolina.
This is a great play by Parsons to get back. Why he feels the need to throw the ball before he comes down, I don't know. But Florida very fortunate to keep that one. This is great hustle.
Werner with 7, Calathes with 7. Those the two highest scores for the Gators right now.
Chisholm got the ball and slid out of bounds. You know, as long as Tennessee is, it's going to be hard for Walker to get off the 3.
Screen by Werner. There's a triple. He's got to work on those kicks to get some distance.
But he had somebody right in his face.
And now Tatum, who's back in the game. The give and go is down for Williams, and he sails in for 2. Slicing to the rim.
And just like that, they've got an 11-point lead again. And the key is that they've been able to get out and play in transition before Florida can get the defense.
How about Tatum coming off the bench and with a quick 4 points? There's the Gators again. Good ball fake, and there it is with Calathes driving inside and a foul. He got Williams in the air. He takes it inside the paint, and a foul goes on Tatum. Picks up his second, and coming up on the AT&T at the half. Join Greg Gumbel, Greg Anthony, and Seth Davis for the scores and highlights. Greg Anthony and Seth will play a little bracket ball discussing some of the hot topics around the NCAA tournament, plus an AT&T Naismith watch update. All coming up in the AT&T at the half. 8 points for Calathes leading the Gators with Dan Bonner, Kevin Harlan here in a sold-out O'Connell Center on the campus of the University of Florida.
Well, the guys back in New York are going to have some interesting things to talk about at halftime. Billy Donovan's going to talk about his defense.
And what about the three-point shooting of Calathes? We told you before, the top three-point artist in the Southeastern Conference, the first Gator player in double figures with 11.
Offensive rebounds, again, a big story for Florida, getting those extra opportunities.
Final minute. A one-time 13-point lead for Tennessee. They go into Williams with his size. He got great position and staked his claim and goes around Parsons.
He was open a long time in there before they threw him the ball. Florida needs to get more pressure on the basketball. Too easy for the Tennessee guys to stand outside and look in.
6'6", Nick Calathes. Top 10 in the Southeastern Conference in 9 different categories. Terrific play. Hodge, screened by Warner. Switch on defense. Tyler now is on Hodge. And Smith now goes out and watches Hodge in the corner with a 3. Woolridge with a good-looking two-handed rebound by the freshman. Tennessee is shooting 64%. They have hit 6 threes. Smith, wide open tab, another 3, right down the middle. At the buzzer, a big-time hit. And a 12-point Tennessee lead at halftime.
The impressive thing about that is Florida came back to within 2 points, Kevin, and then Tennessee just seemed to flip the switch and get rolling again. It helped that they started making threes, but more importantly, they played better defense against Florida, and Florida was not able to get out in transition. Nobody anywhere close to Tab.
7 of 9 three-point shooting for Tennessee. They've scored 13 more points off turnovers than the Gators. Halftime in Gainesville. Extending the Applebee's first half stats. The best offensive rebounding team in the Southeastern Conference is Tennessee. They've got one offensive rebound to the 8 of Florida. Florida 13-0 on second chance points.
Kevin,
very important numbers.
When you shoot 65%, there's not very many offensive rebounds to be had.
You got it. Here is Smith, and he was held by Werner and picks up a foul. Williams, Smith, Hobson, Mays, and Prince begin the second half for the Volunteers. And out there for the Gators, they got Tyus and Werner, Parsons, Calathes, and the senior Walter Hodge. Calathes picks up his second. Here's Mays.
Florida defense trying to match up in that zone. Tennessee's done a very nice job attacking inside, then pitching it back outside for 3.
Hobson puts up a 3. There's a foul on Calathes, who is going after it with Tyler Smith. So Calathes picks up his 3rd and his 2nd in about the last 5 seconds here in Gainesville. That is a concern, and Billy Donovan's got to be thinking about what his top player is doing right now with his 3rd and Only 30 seconds gone in the second half. And he's picked up by Hodge.
Now Kalathis is probably going to have to come out of the game now.
Bruce Pearl's got to be thrilled the way his team has shot in that first half.
Well, I think any coach would be thrilled when you shoot 65%. I mean, but they've gotten good shots.
Tyus watches Smith. Caught by Brian Williams. Throws it against Warner with the heads-up play on the shot clock. Will read 8, and Kalathis will stay. No, he's going to leave, and Irving Walker is going to come in.
Now, interestingly enough, Tennessee only had 1 offensive rebound in the first half. They already have 2, and we haven't played a minute in the second half.
Good point.
And now with Kalathis out and Hodge and Walker in at the same time, they get very small to the Gators.
Parsons gets the miss on the rebound.
Man-to-man for Tennessee, and I think the size of the Volunteers has really bothered Walker and Hodge today. They're only a combined 2 for 8. They've scored 5 points between them. They come in averaging almost 30 between them over the last 4 games.
Now it's Tyus inside. He was guarded by Brian Williams, and here comes J.P. Prince. Again at Arizona, transfers to UT. It's a Hobson 3, and it's wide open, and he knocks it down. Prince coming off a good game the other night. Or rather, Hobson coming off with his 3-point there. But the other night, he had 21 points against Mississippi State on the heels of a 14-point game against the Kentucky Wildcats a week ago. Walker. Nice little runner inside.
Florida has to do a better job getting back on defense.
Walker with the pick, the defense by Mays. It's out of bounds. It is off of Florida. 7th Gator turnover.
You know, sometimes the things just aren't going well for you. Not only does Walker dribble it off his foot, but then he trips and falls down. They're not going to put that particular play in the highlight reel.
Williams is out. Wayne Chisholm is in. Williams looked like he was holding on to his hamstring as he hobbled to the bench. Chisholm works on Cagey, who just checks in for the Gators. Good rebound by Kenny Cagey. Freshman. Parsons uncovered a kicker. He's got 9. 8 3-point hits for Tennessee. 7 3-pointers made for Florida. Hobson again. Drew the double. Outside, wide open. That is a 3 by Tyler Smith.
His 3rd 3 of the game, and Bruce Pearl is almost at half court playing defense.
13 for Smith, who had 10 in the first 10 minutes of the game. 10 points. That's a quick foul. For the second time, goes on Bobby Mays of the Volunteers.
You think Bruce Pearl doesn't think this is an important game? He's going to hurt himself over there. I hope that jacket's big enough. If he keeps flexing like that, it'll be embarrassing. It splits up the middle.
He's had a game here before where he's worked up such a lather he has sweated through his suit, through his coat.
Tennessee has just shredded the Florida defense.
Walker going up against Chisholm. Whistle inside. That is a foul. It's on Cagey. On Florida. Yep, it's on Kenny Cagey who picks up his first foul.
You figure that's a mismatch inside, but Cagey is not patient on the inside. He knows it's Mays, so he starts trying to back him to the basket. No need to do that.
Tab is out. Mays has come in for the Volunteers.
Tennessee has gotten great contributions from their players off the bench.
Hobson. Tab. Tab has hit a 3-point shot earlier in the game. Warner is on Smith. The shot clock is down to 4. They go to J.P. Prince. Kicks it outside. Hobson for 3. And the coverage on the play by Cagey. It's out of bounds. It is off of Florida. And Tennessee will get it again.
There's a mismatch that favors Tennessee. Walter Hodge was trying to block out Wayne Chisholm, and unlike Cagey on the other end, Chisholm was very patient, didn't jump over his back.
Tatum is going to come in for Hobson. Calathes has come in for Hodge.
Calathes has to be careful.
With his 3 fouls, you're right. 2 quick ones to begin the second half.
Usually you can be careful on defense, but he's got to be careful he doesn't pick up a 4th quickly on a charging foul on offense.
It's Prince. Scoops it off to the driving Smith. Cameron Tatum on the fly, and a good-looking shot right over Calathes.
Boy, they're doing anything they want to. That was not an easy shot. Tennessee is just really doing a great job on the offensive end.
Screen by KG. Warner. Irving Walker. Tabb is on intent. A pretty good defensive player. Down goes Walker. Tabb picks up the Tennessee foul. That's his second. Good-looking drive right there by Tatum of the foul. The Tennessee Volunteers back in the end of January beat Florida 79-63. They did it riding 12 3-point shots hit from the field. Today they've got 9. And that has been huge. Here is Walker. Prince is defending. Werner can't find the handle. Calathes, plenty of time on the shot clock and the runner. Calathes has got 13 points.
One of the few times today that Florida has been able to get the ball into the lane against this Tennessee defense. Tennessee's made 9 threes, but I think it's their defensive effort that's going to keep.
Outside, Tatum can't hit. Parsons with the rebound. Florida had 13 second chance points in the first half, none in the second half. A long 3 by Walker. And a foul called on KG, who bumps J.P. Prince, and KG, the freshman, picks up his second personal foul.
That's not a good shot by Walker, and not merely because he missed it. It's much too early in the shot clock when you're down that far. Your guys aren't in position to rebound, and Kenny KG just picks up a cheap foul. But that wasn't KG's fault. That was on Walker.
This game has had a couple of ties, both early. 5 times we've had lead changes. 3 separate occasions, Tennessee has went by as many as 15 points. KG is pushing on Chisholm. The mercy of Wayne Chisholm. The rebound by Chandler Parsons.
That was a man-to-man defense that time by Florida.
Calathes right to Prince. A foul on J.P. Prince. His first.
And keep in mind that Calathes has 3 personal fouls, and Prince, trying to get in position, never had his feet set facing the dribbler. It is a misconception that you can't be moving, but you do have to establish that initial position by getting your feet set, and he never did.
Prince is out. Brian Williams is in for Tennessee. Here's a quick foul. It goes on Tabb. Josh Tabb picks up his second personal foul. 2 teams tied in the Southeastern Conference at 8 and 5. The winner will be tied for first place in the Eastern Division with South Carolina, which lost yesterday. There's a foul on Wayne Chisholm on the inbound pass to Warner. That's number 1 on him.
Tennessee, under Bruce Pearl, has always done a great job defending the inbounds play. A lot of teams can score on the inbounds play underneath, but against Tennessee, you're just happy to get it in.
Hodge, Parsons for 3. The defense on the play by Tabb. Racing the other way. Lasering it inside. Chisholm for 2.
You missed that 3. There's a long rebound. Tennessee comes out with an advantage in numbers, and they move the ball quickly, get an easy basket.
Chisholm with 9. 13 for Tyler Smith. 8 in the game for Bobby Mays. Werner. There's Calathes watching inside as they go in tight. Brian Williams colliding with KG. Williams picks up his 3rd.
You missed the long outside shot. Watch Tennessee get out and run. Tabb does a great job pushing the ball up the court. 3 Florida guys go to the ball. That allows the opening on the inside, and Chisholm, as a big man, does a great job running the court.
Kenny KG was the 5th-rated high school center coming out of those ranks last year. A freshman from Cameroon. The amazing ways is pushing the limits, changing lives, and testing relationships. Catch an all-new episode tonight on CBS America's #1 network. KG again at the strike. He's got his first point.
Now, there's plenty of time left in the game for Florida, but they have to start getting stops on a consistent basis.
By the way, Tennessee has not taken a free throw today. 2 of 4, the Gators at the line. Smith is just wearing them out. Running back and forth. Always on the move. Can't find Smith. He draws the double. About Tyus and Calathes. That means someone's free and a whistle inside. It was a
3 seconds.
3-second violation on the Volunteers. Much to the surprise of Coach Bruce Pearl.
Well, surprise, because that's a call you don't see made very much. It was the correct one, though. Smith was camped out in there. But that's the way, the Tennessee offense, other than that turnover, they got the ball inside through the defense. They had a guy wide open from 3. That's the way things have been working for them today.
KG with the screen on tap. They switch the defense to try by Calathes. 15 points for Calathes.
That was great recognition by Calathes. He had the big guy Williams on him on the perimeter. He drove the ball to the basket. Nobody stopped him, so he went all the way. That's a tough shot.
But for the Gators are 15-0 at home. 17 consecutive home wins. The last time they lost a year ago to Tennessee. Spinning Tatum. Oh, what a good-looking move by Tatum, who's got 8. He has played huge this afternoon. He's a freshman from Lithonia, Georgia, the former Georgia High School Player of the Year.
Tennessee knows that Calathes has 3 fouls. They know that Florida's in a man-to-man. I think you can expect to see them continue to attack Calathes off the dribble.
Good coin over Williams. It's Alex Tyus, and a good-looking rebound by Tyus goes inside. Then Smith comes in, and a foul is called. And it goes on Tyus, who picks up number 1.
There you see Tatum with the finish right there. He recognized that he had the floor cleared on that side, and he was able to drive the ball to the basket against Calathes.
Volunteers come into today 4 straight wins in this building. But overall this year, 3 consecutive Southeastern Conference road losses. This is a huge game for Tennessee in the resume. It would certainly be a quality win on the road, something they have not had a lot of this year. And Bruce Pearl earlier said road wins will be so important for us down the stretch.
Any win will be important down the stretch. This would really be a big one, though.
Williams setting a screen for Hobson. Raises it inside Chisholm. Doubled, handcuffed inside. He goes up. He was in a straight jacket with Werner along with Hodge. Holding on. Hodge picks up the foul. Timeout in CBS Sports coverage of NCAA men's basketball. We'll continue after this message and a word from your local station. So the Tennessee Volunteers, Dan, are plus 13 points in the paint. They've only turned it over 5 times. The Gators have turned it over 8 times. Tennessee is shooting 58% to the 40% of the Gators. And plus 6 points for Tennessee beyond the arc.
Those numbers indicate one thing very clearly, and that is you can't be much more efficient on the offensive end than Tennessee has been today. They've gotten great scoring inside. They've gotten great scoring outside.
First free throw today for the Volunteers, but really they haven't needed it. They've been so efficient, as Dan just talked about in other ways. 11.5 to play in the second half from the Rocket O'Connell Center here in Gainesville on Thursday on CBS. It's the episode that will remind you why CSI is TV's #1 drama. Singer Taylor Swift guest stars on an all-new CSI Thursday on CBS. America's Most Watched Network with Dan Bonner, Kevin Harlan as Chisholm knocks in the free throw.
I think a big factor for Florida today on the offensive end is both Hodge and Walker, a couple of guys averaging almost 30 points a game between them in the last 4 games, have been very quiet today.
This is the largest lead by the Volunteers today of 16. Hodge, Werner, Calathes, Ray Shipman, the freshman, is in. And inside they've got Alex Tyus. That's the Gator 5 on the floor. Tyus has it. Williams pushes him out. Shot clock at 9. Calathes. 3-pointer. Nick Calathes, 18 points. That is a game high.
You don't want to run away from him when he's out beyond the 3-point arc.
And a full court pressure by the Gators here.
Florida has to do something to change the tempo of the game. They've got to get stops. They would prefer to get turnovers, which would result in easy baskets.
Good point. Here's Tab on the fly. Prince wide open. Hobson at 3 of the Calathes. Williams trying to go for the loose ball. And that is a foul. Inside as Williams has to scrape himself off the floor. He's out there with Hobson, Prince, Tab Chisholm. That's the 4th foul, and it goes on Brian Williams, who continues to see quality minutes. He will now leave, and Tyler Smith is coming back out on the floor. They also bring in Bobby Mays.
Well, now Florida shooting 1-1.
So at the line is Hodge, the winningest player in the history of this program. He was a part of those 2 national championship teams for Coach Billy Donovan. Hodge has put in 2, 3 right there. Tomorrow on the Big Bang Theory, it's a paintball battle royal, but just remember one thing. Don't try this at home. Catch a brand new Big Bang Theory. That's tomorrow at 8, 7 Central right here on CBS. Hodge is going for 1,000 points in his career, 7 away. He would be the 44th Gator to hit that point in his career. Full court pressure again, as you might expect.
Well, you're looking for some turnovers, but you're also trying to make Tennessee take quick shots.
Hodge on Mays. Coletas is on Smith. Down low, they got Warner working on Chisholm.
Now, if you're Tennessee, you want to keep doing what's got you this lead. You don't want to get conservative. And that's what's helped get you the lead, taking the ball inside.
Chisholm with 13, Tyler Smith with 13. When the front line of Tennessee scores and plays well, that is a huge, huge factor for the Volunteers.
Well, they're just overpowering against Florida. Florida's got really no guys who can compete on the inside consistently throughout 40 minutes. And this is what we're talking about. Nobody comes to help. Hodge makes a stab at it, but Chisholm just takes the ball to the basket. Unless you're going to double team him and force him to give up the ball, you're not going to be able to stop him in there.
Chisholm picks up his 2nd foul. This brings Nick Coletas to the free throw line, the 2-time Mr. Basketball in the state of Florida. Just a sophomore out of Castleberry, Florida. Mays. He's put in 8. Prince Shipman is now in the freshman for the Gators. Coletas is on Smith. Now they switch, and Prince is guarded by Coletas. Now Warner picks up Prince. So many switches on defense. The drive by Smith inside over 2 defending Gators. Here comes Hodge, racing the other way. Coletas. A bullet pass inside for Tyus. Here comes Shipman off the baseline, streaking for 2. He's got his first 2. Now Prince the other way, pushing the pedal. Mays through traffic, guarded by Tyus, deflects the shot, picked up by Warner. Here comes Nick Coletas. 11-point game outside. Shipman a 3. Come on! He's got 5! Dan, 16 points has been the biggest deficit for the Gators at home today. They've been behind most of the game. That's got to be tiring to continually dig yourself out of that hole.
It really is, and lots of times you expend so much energy coming back that you don't have enough energy to get over the hump and actually take the lead. But if you followed college basketball this year, many teams have lost double-digit leads in the second half. The teams are just generally too evenly balanced. You got to keep playing, and if you're Tennessee, this is sort of a difficult time. You want to keep playing at the pace and tempo that got you the lead, but you don't want to get going too fast.
Tennessee is shooting 55% from the field. Florida +3 rebounding. A 10-2 Florida run.
Florida in the man-to-man.
Walker will pick up Mays. Shot clock is down to 7. A screen and a switch. The
now you got to find the big guy.
Mays over the taller. Tyus, a rebound by Warner. Irving Walker. Florida, 44% from the floor. Shipman has hit the last 2. A 2-pointer and a 3-pointer. Drives inside the offensive foul.
Shipman is a guy who really, that's his game, taking the ball on offense and going to the basket. And he saw an opening, but again, Tennessee does a nice job. Prince is just standing there waiting for him. You got to be able to pull up and either take the short jump shot or make the pass.
Little trap on Mays and a retreating pass to Smith.
Florida now back into that zone,
which relies on a lot of communication. Good pass. Prince inside. Hobson was fouled on the play by Hodge. What a pass by Prince. Hodge picks up his second. Volunteers on top. 7:51 in the second half. The Tennessee Volunteers, Dan Bonner, have been over 50% most of this game shooting from the floor.
The three-point shooting numbers very good for Tennessee, but I think the key has been their power game on the inside. It has actually forced Florida to concentrate on stopping the inside game. These are power points, and by that I mean points that the big guys get going at the basket. These are points right around the rim, and you can see Tennessee doing a nice job getting their big guys loose inside. Chisholm finishes that off with the left hand. Florida really has no answer for that power game on the inside. What we've shown you right there, and you can see by these numbers here, Tennessee's big guys, when they get the ball inside, they finish. Florida's big guys have caught it inside, but they have been unable to finish, and that's a key stat in this game.
This is the third free throw attempt by Tennessee, and near the end of today's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. In recognition of continued excellence on and off the court, Chevy will make a contribution to Reach University's General Scholarship Fund to support the development of new technologies and innovations. Go to Chevy.com. Coates with 18. They trap him. William is free because they doubled across the way.
And those are the kind of shots, if you're going to make a comeback, you've got to knock them down.
They go inside. Prince. Great hesitation. The defense flies by, and J.P. Prince gives the Volunteers an 11-point lead with his 6th point. Lakers inside for Alex Tyus. 2 fouls on Hobson. We've got 2 8-5 Southeastern Conference teams. The winner will be tied for first place with South Carolina in the SEC Eastern Division. 15 consecutive wins this season for the Gators at home. 15-0 record, 17 in a row overall. And they take on the Tennessee Volunteers, who come in with 3 road losses in a row. But Tennessee has beaten Florida 4 consecutive times.
This game has been one that's featured extremely effective offense by Tennessee. They've scored inside, they've scored outside. Their defense has created problems for the Florida Gators.
Nick Coates, 3rd leading scorer in the SEC with 18. 13 apiece for Tyler Smith of Tennessee and his teammate Wayne Chisholm.
Tennessee's had their most success playing in transition. Now with the lead late in the game, they're looking to play in the half court. We'll see how that works out.
Volunteers have led by as many as 16 points in this game. They have shot over 50% from the field.
Again, Kevin, they've gotten good shots, most of those coming in transition.
Here's the drive by Smith right into Warner with a couple seconds left in the shot clock. KG, the Gator rebound. 5'8" Walker the other way, and here is Coates. Guarded by Mays. The slashing move inside. Rebound by Bobby Mays.
That's a good job by Tennessee to not foul Coates. Again, he's not a great finisher at the rim.
Chisholm from Mays, knocked away by Chandler Parsons, the Gator sophomore. Shot clock at 28, and 6:28 to play in the second half. As you take a look at these 2 teams, South Carolina losing yesterday. The winner goes to a tie for first place in the Eastern Division.
And of course, the top 2 teams in each division of the SEC get a bye in the SEC tournament.
53% shooting for the Volunteers. Hobson, the freshman, with a 3. Good! Right between the eyes, he puts it down. A big-time triple, he's got 7. And the other way the drive as Hobson goes, defending on Irving Walker, who is a freshman from Brooklyn, New York. Lot going on here this afternoon in Gainesville.
Tennessee started out, they made 5 3-point baskets early in the game, and that set the tone. They got the lead against Florida. The Gators battled back, and when the Gators have knocked down threes, they actually cut the lead to 2 points at one time in the first half, but the Volunteers stretched it out, and they've been able to fight off the Gators ever since.
Negadu has come in for Chisholm for Tennessee. Here is Parsons with the left hand. And he guys on this and puts it in. And the sophomore Parsons has 11. And in second chance points, Florida plus 10. Their offensive rebounding has been clutch today against a very good offensive rebounding Tennessee team, the #1 offensive rebounding team in the Southeastern Conference. Foul away from the ball. It's inside, it's on the Gators. And it's going to go on the junior from New Jersey, Dan Werner. He picks up his first personal foul.
You can see Florida trying to increase the defensive pressure, and whenever you do that, you put yourself in a position where you're going to commit some fouls.
Tatum comes in for Prince for the Volunteers, and here's Hobson, the Kentucky High School Basketball Player of the Year in the freshman.
Tennessee, not a very good free-throw shooting team.
Tyus the rebound. 10-point game. Coletas, Parsons the other way. 13 for Chandler Parsons. 8-point game. Mays guarded by Walker. Continuing to see that 2-3. Timeout taken by Bruce Pearl, who against Billy Donovan of Florida is 6-1. He's coached a good one today. The visiting Volunteers on top and 5:05 to play. Duke, North Carolina next week. A terrific Southeastern Conference game here. And as we step back a little bit and take a look at the tournament resume, you see what the Volunteers have done. Look at the strength of schedule. Look at the last 12 games they've played.
And another important number to look at is that record against the RPI top 50. They've got 5 wins against top 50 teams, and that is something that I think is going to have a great influence on the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee.
Williams has come in. Here is Tatum. Outside Mays, a 3 over the taller Tyus. Rebound by Parsons. Gators shooting 43%. And here is Nick Coletas, a sophomore who was last year's co-freshman of the year in the Southeastern Conference. And a screen by Tyus and a pick and roll. Smith of Tennessee was reaching in, trying to defend, and picks up the foul for the Volunteers. Only his first foul. And free throw attempts. Florida has taken 9, hitting 6. Tennessee has taken 5. They've hit 3. And so here is Alex Tyus, sophomore from St. Louis. Thursday on CBS, Survivor First. Secret Alliance, unlike anything you've seen before. Don't miss a new Survivor. It's Thursday on CBS, America's most watched network.
Boy, that's just like a turnover. You missed 2 free throws at this point in the game. You know, you're trying to come back here. Those need the free ones.
Smith and Chisholm with 13 apiece for the Volunteers.
Florida in a man-to-man. Tennessee's been able to get inside very effectively against this defense.
Because of their patience.
And because of their size.
With Smith inside over Werner. And a great finding move as he curls across the lane.
That's his signature move, getting the ball down low and then that spin into the lane.
Smith has 15. Switch on defense. Coletas now against the slower Williams, who knocks it away. A quick double by Hobson. That means wide open is Walker. A big time 3 and a timer taken by Florida. They come to within 7. Irving Walker has 8. Another triple for Florida. 69-62 the Volunteers.
Coming up on ESPN America.
The Florida Gators have won 17 consecutive home games. Their last loss was March 5th last season to Tennessee. The Gators led by as many as 16 in the first half, but the Volunteers came back, led by Jawan Smith, who knocked in 23 and gave the Volunteers an 89-86 win. 17 consecutive home wins, its longest right now in major college basketball. A lot of resiliency shown by this Tennessee team. They're 17-10 overall against the 21-7 Gators. The galloping Tyler Smith knocked away from behind, out of bounds, and off of Florida. Timeout. We take a break as well. You got it, Greg. Hard to believe that Billy Donovan, the two-time national championship coach of this program, has been here 13 years. We've seen the Volunteer resume. Let's take a look at the 21-win Florida Gators. They've equaled last year's regular season win total.
And if you just look at those numbers, you see some problems on there. That 42 in the RPI, the strength of schedule over 100, and only 2 wins against the RPI top 50. That's why this would be such an important win for Florida, because Tennessee has that great RPI at 29, so they get their 3rd win against the RPI top 50, and more importantly, they get themselves back in a first-place tie in the SEC East.
Williams is in with Mays, Smith, Prince, and Hobson, who's got the ball right now. That's the Volunteer 5 on the floor. 3:40 to play in regulation. Warner watching Hobson, who slithers inside. Williams, shot clock at 10. Mays outside, Smith the 3. Rebound by Chandler Parsons. Here comes Columbus with a game-high 18 for the Gators. Warner for 3 over Prince. First it was Walker. Then it was Warner. A couple of big-time triples. Driving is Smith right to the rack. Goes into Alex Tyus. Offensive rebound by Mays.
That's a great job by Williams on the inside, tipping that ball to keep it alive.
Florida is on a 10-2 run. Volunteers led earlier in this half by 16 points.
A lot of standing around at the moment by Tennessee. They're trying to work the clock.
Shot clock at 10. Screen by Williams. Tyler Smith with 3 over Parsons.
Well, and that's Williams again. Williams battling for the ball inside. Parsons and Walker couldn't control it. They knock it out of bounds. And so Tennessee has another shot and, more importantly, another 35 seconds.
Williams will lead. Here comes Wayne Chisholm out there for the Volunteers. Warner, Colanthus, Walker, and Tyus, the Florida 5. It's Chisholm inside over Colanthus. An easy 2 from point-blank range.
They had 3 chances at it and just threw it right up to the big guy who Florida hadn't been able to guard all day.
He's got 15. Colanthus with 3 threes. Chisholm defending. Parsons pushing. That is a Florida 5. It's on Chandler Parsons, who picks up his 2nd of the game for the Gators. .205 to play.
You can certainly understand Colanthus being the guy who wants to take the shot in that situation, but that really wasn't a very good opportunity. That was a deep shot by Colanthus. Chisholm was right in his face. There had been no movement. So it's a tough play to secure an offensive rebound.
Here's the Arizona transfer, J.P. Prince. He's got 7 big things are happening in late night. All this week when Dave hosts a special 5-night performance by U2 in a top 10 from the World Baseball Classic. Then Craig Ferguson got Paris Hilton on his show this week. CBS late night is better than ever. And all new this week. Prince. 1 of the rebound and 2 to play in the game. Florida had a couple of early leads. Warner a screen, a 3 by Walker. Oh, what a great shot! His 2nd down the stretch. Irving Walker, the little man in big-time college basketball at 5'8" has hit his second three down the stretch, keeping the Gators alive. With Dan Bonner, Kevin Harlan, three-point shooting by the Florida Gators.
The Gators have now hit 12 of these in the game, and that's what fueled their comeback in the first half. That's what's fueled their comeback in the second half. They've gotten some transition opportunities. Calathes with some penetration, so they've created some open looks from the basket.
Florida is the second-ranked Southeastern Conference team in threes. Fifth consecutive game with at least 10 three-point hits for the Gators. When they have 8 or more threes from the field, they're 13-2. So it's obvious that perimeter game is so vital for the very undersized Florida Gator team, and more full-court pressure employed by Billy Donovan's Florida team. It's Smith against Parsons.
Smith is an excellent free throw shooter, so he's a guy that you'd love to have the ball in that situation. It's really going to be hard for a guy like Parsons to put pressure on Smith. He's so good with the basketball, so quick, and Parsons at 6'9", just can't move his feet quickly enough to pressure Tyler Smith out on the perimeter.
A week ago against Vanderbilt, they had a career-high 30 points. The junior from Pulaski, Tennessee.
That's a big miss there. What you want to do right now if you're Florida is you want to cut 1 point off that lead every trip. And so if they're going to make 2, then you have to score 3. Now, if you score a 2, you cut 1 point off the lead. That is if he makes this one.
Tennessee 5 of 9 from the free throw line. The Gators are 6 of 11. 16 points for Tyler Smith. 7th leading scorer in the Southeastern Conference.
And you see Tennessee now, they're going to apply some pressure. Now what you want to do if you're Tennessee, you want to pressure the ball, but you don't want to let anybody from Florida slip behind you. You don't want to allow them to get a 3 in transition. Nice job by Tennessee to pressure and fall back.
Away from the ball, we have a foul. Josh Tabb, who just came in the game for his defense, will pick up number 3. So Nick Calathes will be at the free throw line. Only player in college basketball averaging at least 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. He does it all for this team. Bernie Madoff was operating the biggest Ponzi scheme ever. One man was trying to tell the government. That's tonight. And he'll tell 60 Minutes on CBS. 19 for Calathes, right at his average. We've got a 3-point game. Tennessee at one time led by 16 points. Prince, Chisholm, double teamed, he puts it in over Warner and over Alex Tyus.
That's a great job going inside the one place where Florida's had tough time defending the entire game.
Walker pulled down by Hobson. Freshman against freshman. Billy Donovan calls time for the Florida Gators. This was some kind of shot deep inside. Wayne Chisholm grinding for the deuce. 1 minute to play. There's a reset and a 5-point Tennessee lead with 60 seconds to play in regulation. Each team has been hitting threes. 52% shooting for the game overall for the Tennessee Volunteers, who come in with an 8-5 conference record. Same identical conference record for the Gators. The winner here goes to a tie for first place with South Carolina in the Southeastern Conference Eastern Division.
You saw in that last play, Tennessee able to get the basket by going inside. And Kevin, you're right. Each team has hit a large number of threes today, but the difference in this game may turn out to be the fact that Tennessee has Smith and Chisholm, guys they can throw the ball to inside and get conversion.
Tennessee plus 8 points in the paint. Full court, as you can see, has been employed all game long by Florida. Now Tennessee sticking with that man-to-man as Hobson. Sneaks in, he's got 30. Lockdown defense could not stop the 5'8" Walker. That's an offensive foul.
This is a great drive to the basket by Walker. And then down on the other end after he cuts it to 3. We've got an offensive foul called against Josh Tabb. A little bit of confusion out on the court. Bruce Pearl really upset, but Josh Tabb drove the ball to the basket and got called for an offensive foul.
And he's got 4. Kalantis is at 3 threes today. Prince on Kalantis. A 3 by Walker for the tie. It was partially deflected on the play by the freshman Hobson. It's picked up by Chisholm, and that's what they do with 26.6 to play.
Kevin,
they got a taller defender
all
on
game long. We have been talking about Tennessee's length and how that length has bothered Florida when Florida has the ball on offense, and Hobson just comes running at him, and Hobson, 6'6", very long arms, just gets a fingertip on it, but that's just enough. That's what Florida was looking for, that open 3 from the corner, but suddenly it wasn't open.
What a great closeout by Hobson. Chisholm at the line. Chisholm, they get 2 of 3 from the stripe. The Tennessee high 17 points.
He scored some big points down the stretch. Now you got to hurry.
Kalantis with 20. Doubled inside. Kalantis was going for the rebound with Tyler Smith.
And Kalantis fouled.
Yep, his 4th. 16 seconds to play. Undefeated Florida at home, 15-0. Tennessee has come in here and won 4 consecutive games over the last 4 years.
Kevin, you have to say 2 really good defensive sets by Tennessee in the last couple of possessions. First the block by Hobson, and then the defense against Kalantis, forcing that missed shot.
16.3 to play. The Volunteers will have another free throw coming up. They're up by 5 in Gainesville. Tennessee has a free throw coming up. They lead by 5 with 16.3 to play in regulation here in Gainesville. The Tennessee basketball team has had great success against Florida, but Urban Meyer and Tim Tebow have had pretty good success for Florida against the Tennessee football program. We take a look at Urban Meyer, and there is his counterpart, Billy Donovan, on the basketball side in his 13th season, and he watches Tyler Smith at the free throw line for the Volunteers. A 16-point lead earlier in this half by the Tennessee Volunteers had been whittled down to 3. Tennessee has led in this game since about 5 minutes deep, 6 minutes deep into the first half when they're on top, 11-9. Big free throw by Smith. 6-point game.
But the confusion there is how many shots should Tyler Smith get? No, he gets another shot.
Here's Kalantis, running by Josh Tam.
Got to get a 3 now.
Screen by Titus.
No timeouts for Florida. You got to foul. You got to foul right now.
And Warner does. As Irving Walker puts in his 16th point of the game, Walker has gone 4 of 8 beyond the arc this afternoon. And today's Chevrolet players of the game, Tyler Smith with 18 for the Volunteers, Kalantis with 20 for the Gators. In recognition of continued excellence on and off the court, Chevrolet will make a contribution to each university's general scholarship fund to support the development of new technologies and innovations. Go to Chevy.com.
My heavens, this is going to make the second shot a little bit harder.
Smith, 3 of 5 from the line. Huge.
You just got to get it up the court quickly and get a 3.
It's Calathis, Tyus, Walker over Hobson for 3. And Tennessee is 1. And tied for first place with South Carolina in the SEC Eastern Division. A huge road win for the Tennessee Volunteers, who have now beaten the Florida Gators 5 consecutive times. And it's the first home loss this season by the Gators here in Gainesville. What a game. 19 from Tyler Smith, 18 from Chisholm, 20 for Calathis. Coming up next, another big one on CBS. For Dan Bonner, Kevin Harlan, good night from chilly Gainesville.